Good morning everybody, Merry Christmas to you. Roadcraft Nottingham here. I thought I'd give you a little game to play over Christmas. It's about forward planning and anticipation. I tend to play myself a little game called the braking game, just watching these now. And the braking game is to get you forward planning a little bit more. Basically the rules are, you try and avoid using your brakes, unless of course you have to, so that you have to forward plan a little bit more. Watch this Range Rover. So I usually count how many times on the way to work I use my brakes. The advantages of this are going to be you use your brakes less, so there's less wear and tear. It also helps you forward planning and concentration. So since I set off I haven't used my brakes, but please bear in mind rule 2. Don't hit a car and blame me for saying you said you can't use your brakes. Wow, that's the 50 limit. So this is a long boring road, so I'm going to cut this little bit off now and I'll come back to you near the traffic lights. Hello, I'm back again. Rule number 3, you can use acceleration sense, which is veering your throttle, to slow down. You can use the gear that you're in to slow down, but you can't change gears for the purpose of braking, otherwise that'll just wear out your transmission. So here we go, traffic lights are on red, I've got no choice but to brake. And also don't hang around about half a mile behind the car in front avoiding braking, because that's just holding traffic back. It never ceases to amaze me when people pull up at traffic lights. You see the white line just there. People seem to be scared of the white line. I suppose it's a good opportunity for us motorcyclists to fit into that gap and filter, isn't it? God, this guy's smoking like a chimney as well. Okay, so keeping a safe distance behind the car now. The other traffic lights are changing to red, so these are going to be changing to green. Just planning ahead on this Vauxhall to make sure he's seen it. Excuse me. Okay, steady throttle, planning ahead. So far I've used my brakes once. If you look at cars that are following other cars too closely, or bikes following cars too closely, you often see the brake lights coming on several times in a minute. That's because they're too close and they're not anticipating the car in front braking. Okay, here's number 2. And I'm going to filter on this one, next to Mr. Cigarette. Oh, I used to smoke, by the way. I'm just not an anti-smoker. I used to be on up to 60 a day. I was actually lighting cigarettes off cigarettes. Okay, lights are going to change. Thank you to the car driver for letting me go, whether he did or not. Okay, next lights, anticipating them changing. So these should be changing in a second. Here we go. Right, let's have a look at what the next lights are on. A little bit more forward planning. I assume they've only just changed because the cars have accelerated. Watch this car coming out on me. Oh, not sure what to do there, old man. I'm watching you. So far, I've only used my brakes twice, and I'm also going to do a little bit of overtaking here. These arrows are only telling me that the lanes are closing in. Thank you for moving over, young fellow. Bless you. Okay, let's go. Right then, lights have just changed to green. This car's going to be coming into the right-hand lane, so the throttle shut off a little bit earlier, and I'm not using the brakes yet. But I'm keeping my distance, using my mirrors, seeing if anything's coming up on the inside. Okay, we're clear. planning ahead, about 200 yards ahead is the famous roundabout where the Mini came straight across in front of me. What I'm going to do here, I'm just thinking about it, there's loads of cars in this lane, but they seem to be making progress, so I'm not going to bother doing an overtake. But if you look in the mirror, there's a couple of cars coming round to possibly turn right at the roundabout. No brakes needed again, nice acceleration sense. I am going to keep left here because of the right turning cars. I think the traffic's pretty well behaved today. Do I sound like I'm on helium when I'm talking? Somebody was saying that instructors sound boring. So here we go, people. We're going to be talking about the braking game. That just sounds patronising. Okay, we're going to be talking about the braking game. For those of you in other countries, that was a really pathetic Birmingham accent. Okay, so I'm going to be going left at the traffic lights. Get myself into position. The lights are changing already. And because it's downhill, I might not have normal deceleration sense to be able to slow down enough for this corner. Sorry, that wind just took my breath away then. So I am going to brake again. There we go. And off my brakes, steady throttle as I go round. Right, so there was another one. Okay, right turn coming up. It's looking like I'm going to have to brake again here. I'm not braking yet, I'm just using normal deceleration, and there's the brakes. Also practicing a little bit of slow speed, my feet are still up, still up. Okay, there's a lady in the car there opening and closing a door, but the car's got its lights on still. I might do the good thing and tell her the lights are still on. But then again, does she know that? Okay, so you get the general idea of this. It's just a case of planning ahead. You get a lot of people that are booting it up like this, and then grabbing the brakes, and then accelerating again, and grabbing the brakes. And the thing is there, it just uses extra fuel, it wastes your tyres. Even though you're not skidding, you actually do use more tyre accelerating like that. And if you have a chain and sprockets, it also wears out the chain and sprockets much quicker. Very basic story before the end of this. I've been playing this game for 25 years now. In 1987 I bought a new CBR 600. A friend of mine bought his about a month after mine. They're identical. His tyres wore through in half the distance that mine did. Yet I was always in front of him, and that's because he was banging a fistful of throttle on, grabbing a handful of brake, and just basically wearing his tyres out, so it actually costs you money. Okay people, hope this has been a bit more interesting for you. I hope I don't sound like I'm on helium too much. And I hope the person that said instructors sound boring actually found this bit interesting. Merry Christmas.